couple of sales and a bunch of pickups this week on Grail Quest. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little while, but I wanted to provide you another update on our Grail Quest challenge. Today we have a couple of sales from September that I'm going to go through really quickly, and then we'll dive into a pretty large mail day of a bunch of cards that I've been consolidating over the past several weeks, and I'll go through what I paid for each of them, what my thought process was, and then we'll end the video with a very quick ledger snapshot to see where we're at. So without further ado, let's hop in. All right, now let's do a quick recap of some of the PWCC sales that we had during September. There weren't very many. As I mentioned earlier, we were just kind of in a standstill where we had a number of cards that had not yet come back from grading, and we also had a number of cards that were already sold at PWCC, so this is really just a couple more of those sales. So the first one that we sold was the 2007 Mundi Chromo Ronaldinho Top Once Security Horizontal in SGC 9. Believe this is a pop one, none higher, and you can see we paid all in $66.52. This was back when we were sending to SGC at $30 with the 1 week turnaround. The other two Ronaldinhos that we sold for anywhere from 2 to like 6x, or 2 to maybe 4x what our initial investment was. Unfortunately, this one only sold for $48. So you can see we took a loss of $18.52 or 28%. I mean, I don't really know what else to say with this one other than, you know, sometimes certain cards get the attention that you hope they do, and other times, you know, they just kind of fall under the radar. I mean, probably expected this to go closer to 100 just given what some of the other ones did, but, you know, get the $48 back and move on. And then the next one we sold was the 2001 Fuchera World Stars. This is the 3D like lenticular hologram card for Thierry Henry, SGC 9. This is a pop one. There's none others graded. So my whole thought process in buying this card and grading it was that it's Thierry Henry. It's a cool looking card. It's, you know, over 20 years old. Relative rarity in the sense that there just aren't many or any graded. And as you can see, was able to get all in for, you know, $45.83, including grading. Figured, hey, there's a good chance we could, you know, make a solid profit on this one. And sold for $28, took a loss of $17.83. And I think this is just a matter of, you know, Fuchera maybe not being a super, you know, highly touted or, you know, respected set in the hobby. I mean, I still think it's a cool looking card. I think from this one, you know, learnings here is just maybe sticking to more of the traditional sets, that, you know, Mega Cracks, Mundi Chromo for looking at Spanish League, Pre-Modern, Topps Chrome, Prism, etc. So again, we'll take the loss, we'll take the learnings, and we'll recycle the $28 in sales proceeds back into more investments. So that'll do it for the sales. Next up, I'll go through some of the recent pickups, and then we'll do a ledger review. Thanks again. All right, everyone, welcome back to another mail day. So today we have a pretty good stack of pickups that I've made over the past, honestly, month or two. And all of these will be part of the Grail Quest challenge. And with each of these, as I've done in previous mail days, I'll go through each card, talk about what I paid for it, and just talk about a brief high-level overview of my thought process and why I bought it and how I'm thinking about, you know, adding value through grading, etc. So without further ado, the first card we have here is a Jude Bellingham. This is a Topps Finest Bundesliga rookie card. It's the Purple Wave Refractor, numbered out of 250. So I paid, with including shipping, I paid $44.50 for this one. So my thought process here is, you know, Jude is obviously one of the most highly touted recent rookie prospects. I think he's still only like 19 years old. He's got a lot of buzz about moving to Liverpool next summer, and now possibly looks like Man United or Real Madrid might be entering that. But needless to say, he'll likely be on the move from Dortmund in the near future. He does have a lot of rookie cards, but I just figured, you know, with an $18 grading fee, we could get this graded and be all in for about $63. And even in a PSA 9, I think we do okay, given that this is a, colored parallel rookie card. So the idea here is just to kind of grade it and flip it and, add some value and hopefully get a PSA 10. The next card we have is, so this is a Sadio Mane. This is from Mosaic 2021 Premier League. This is the breakaway insert, the yellow fluorescent, numbered out of 10 right there. So got this one for $55. All in for grading will be all in for a little less than $75. Again, the hope here is to get a PSA 10, obviously, but even if we don't get a PSA 10, given it's so limited, I think there's still a relatively high floor here. Obviously, he doesn't play for Liverpool anymore, but he's still a great player, and just, the limited nature of this card, I think, gives us that high floor and high ceiling combination that we look for. Next up, we have another Mane. So this one is out of this year's Stadium Club Chrome. This is the gold refractor out of 50, numbered 1 of 50. I don't love how the Stadium Club Chrome refractors are this year, because it's a gold refractor, but it's basically a refractor with a little bit of gold, like a little bit of gold up here on the bottom. But needless to say, I actually got this as part of another, I bought a card for my personal collection, and the seller was selling this. I asked him how much he would do for it. He said he would do $12, and so with including shipping, I got this for basically $13, which again, grade it for 18, we're in it for about a little over 30, even in a PSA 9. Like, I still think, a gold refractor does okay, and obviously a PSA 10, I think there's definitely some upside there. So, plus I just love these Stadium Club Chrome action shots. I think these are truly underrated just in terms of the photography. Although I know obviously there's a ton of sets, and so they kind of get lost in the shuffle. And next, okay, so now we're getting in the Mosaic Genesis portion of the show. You guys know I love Genesis. Got the Mohamed Salah Genesis here. You might recall that I graded Salah Genesis with SGC earlier. We got a 9.5, actually ended up losing about like $8 or $10 on it. But this one I got for around the same price. I got this one for $85, so we'll be in it for a little over 100. And the 9.5 sold for, I want to say, around 85 or 90, somewhere in there. And so again, in a PSA 9, even if we're around the 85 or 90, in a PSA 10, we're probably at least double that. So, again, just a high floor, high upside card. I know I've said this a lot. I think the Genesis are a little slept on just in terms of how truly limited the print runs are. But I know they are retail parallel, and, Mosaic, while I think is starting to entrench itself as one of the, more mainstream sets, is obviously still a relatively newer set, so it doesn't have a historical significance, but beautiful card nonetheless, and, of one of my favorite players. Okay, again, another Genesis, another Virgil van Dijk. We actually have a PSA 10 Van Dijk Genesis that we just got back that we're looking to move. This one I actually got for quite cheaper than that one. This one I paid $29.65 all in. So again, we grade this, we're in it for less than 50. PSA 9, I think we'll probably do pretty well. PSA 10, definitely a lot of room to run. So again, just the high floor, high upside plays. Don't expect to get $500 or anything for PSA 10 here, but if you can get in some of these cards at a low enough price point, and then where grading has come down to a PSA at only $18, you can get these graded for relatively cheap all in. And in a PSA 10, I think you do really well. And even in a PSA 9, I think there's still, not a ton of downside, I would say. And continuing the trend, we have the Ivan Toney. This is the striker from Brentford. It's a rookie card, Genesis. Same thought here. This one was $40 all in. My thought process here is, this is a short printed rookie. He's had some great moments in the Premier League. I think he's still relatively young, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has a good season or two at Brentford that he could be due for a transfer to at least a marginally bigger club. But again, just kind of taking a bet on this being a rookie and it being a short print short print parallel. But one thing I've noticed, and I posted this on Instagram a while ago, so these are the two, so these both come out of the same set. The Van Dyke, you can see the Genesis is much more of a black parallel, whereas the Tony, and I've noticed this with some of the Man City players and some of the other players, it's definitely more of a blue. I'm not entirely sure why that is. They're both Genesis parallels. I don't know if it's just different parts of the design are being used for different teams or what, but kind of looks like different parallels when you put them together like that. So just something to consider. So here we have another Genesis. This one's actually out of the Mosaic Euro 2020 set. This is the Diogo Jota. This is the, he's in his Portuguese kit. One thing with these Mosaic, and this is why I started picking up the Genesis for Premier League, but of the Mosaic Euro, I was looking at the PSA pop reports, and the highest pop Genesis from 2020, so this is like 2 years ago, is the Mbappe, and there are 20 total graded. I think there's like 11 10s and 9 9s or something like that. I think next after that is 16. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. And, I don't know how much of this product is yet to be opened, but I don't think that we're looking at like hundreds and hundreds of these, because you look at someone like Mbappe or Ronaldo, I mean, those are two prime candidates for grading, which makes me think that there's just not as many of these as people might think there are. And so I think if you can get these at good price points and you can get decent players, I mean, Jota, he's has some upside, obviously not, a superstar, but, definitely can score goals and has shined for Liverpool at times. I think there's value here. This one I paid $29.50. The total, like I said, the total pop on these is like single digits for most of the players outside of, the big ones like Mbappe and Ronaldo. So, grade this all in for like $45, $47. PSA 10 would yield a pretty nice return, I think. I think we'd at least, double our money with a PSA 10. So, and then finally, I've kind of, beat this up already, but same thought process here. João Felix, got this one for $41. Same kind of deal. I think this is a pop 6 right now, in terms of just total graded. So not even like pop 610 or whatever. This is like the total number of João Felix Mosaic Euro Genesis prisms that have been graded is 6. Which again, like if there were hundreds or thousands of these cards in existence, I would expect the pops to be, at least like 30 or 50 or something like that. So again, just even if this gets a 9, I don't think we lose a ton. It might even break even. Obviously a 10, I think we make a pretty solid profit there. All right, and now we'll get into some older pickups that I got off ComC. So this one I thought was interesting. This is a Roberto Baggio. It's the Calcio Euro Flash 1989 sticker. So I did some digging on this one. Very low pop. Again, like low pop doesn't always necessarily mean rare, but just given it looked like it was in pretty good condition, has pretty good eye appeal. Low pop, I mean, we're talking like single digits of them graded, and it was $15. So I figured, again, the upside is there. The the downside is limited, just given the price point that we were able to get in at. All right, and then the next one here, so this is Ronaldo R9. This is from his Real Madrid days. This, I believe, is a 2002, 2003 Mundi Cromo Fichas de la Liga. Again, this is 1180 off ComC. A little bit off center, but just looked like it was in pretty good condition. Not many of these graded, so again, hoping that we get all in for 30. If this gets like a 9 or a 10, I mean, I don't think it's gonna get a 10, but even like an 8 or a 9, I think there's definitely some room on a card like this. Legendary player, just love for some reason, just love the look of this card. And, again, the price point is such that it's a high floor, high ceiling, high upside investment or, opportunity. Not saying we're going to get a 9 or even an 8, But even in like a 7, I don't think this kills us, you know, and I think those are the types of you know, investment opportunities we're looking for. Next, continuing with the high floor, high ceiling, we have a Ronaldinho. This is a 2006, 2007 Mundi Chromo. You know, again, this is one of the foil parallels. Again, this was $11.75 on ComC. We'll be all in grading for around $30. We've seen how well Ronaldinho cards can do with some of our previous Grail Quest submissions. I think we had a Mundi Chromo of I forget what year, it might have been 2008, that even in an SGC 9, we still basically doubled our investment. And, you know, if you get into like PSA 9 or even like, you know, I'm not saying this is going to get a PSA 10, but if you get a high enough grade, these, you know, these can become very rare to where you really have, you know, some high upside there. And then speaking of high upside, followers of the channel will recognize this card. So this is actually the third one of these that we are submitting as part of Grail Quest. So this is the 2003-2004 Mundi Chromo Fichas de la Liga, the El Crack. It's got kind of like that disco refractor look to it. So we have one of these sitting at PSA waiting to get graded. We graded one with SGC, got a 9.5, and graded it for, you know, all in, I think we were in for like $65, $70, sold it for over $310. So definitely high upside if we could get a PSA 9 or even a PSA 8 here. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. And yeah, I'll bring you guys another video once these come back from grading, and we'll do a grading reveal, and I'll obviously provide an update if and when we sell these. So that'll do it for today. Let me know what you thought of these pickups. Let me know which ones you liked. Let me know if there's any that you disagree with. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
All right, and let's take a quick look at our ledger and where it stands as of today. So as you recall, we started with a $1,000 initial investment. We have purchases of almost $1,100, grading fees of $434, shipping fees $43. Almost $800 worth of sales, which gives us a current bankroll of $221.86. We're kind of at the point now in our Grail Quest where we've spent a lot of money on purchasing cards. We've graded a number of cards. We have a number of cards currently coming back from grading. And as you just saw, we have a number of cards that will be sent out to grading. So the flywheel's moving. We just need a number of sales to happen, and I think this ledger will start to look a bit more positive. You will see right here on items sold, profit on items sold here, we have over $200, which we can flip over to the tracker in a second. You can see it's actually a decent return on investment. Our current target price is still $6,000. The most recent PSA 8 Messi 71 Biz was still the one that sold a while back on PWCC for $58.80. And yeah, so let's pop over to the tracker really quick. So here you can see again, you know, just here's all the cards that we just went through here. You can see all the cards that all the other cards that we have. And one thing I wanted to show is just, if you look at in the sales date column, this shows when some cards were sold. Most of these we've already gone through in detail. The two that we just went through today are the Thierry Henry, the Fuchera, and then the other Ronaldinho, which again, I was kind of surprised that we didn't at least break even or make a small profit like we did on the other two Ronaldinho Mundi Chromos, but it could just be that set isn't as desired as the older ones. And then finally, as I mentioned, if we go over here on the profit on items sold, yeah, so if you see net sales here, $797, and then profit of $212, that basically implies a cost of $585.45. And if you take the profit margin divided by the net cost, you see we're actually getting like a 36% return on investment. And interestingly enough, you know, you can see we sold 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. Only 3 of them we actually even made any money on, but you can see the amount of money we made and the profits were, you know, above 100%, and obviously the big one being the Ronaldinho
2003 Mundi Chromo. So again, just kind of hammers home the point that it's really all about finding winners and, you know, limiting losses. You know, you can see we've lost money on a number of these, but the amounts are quite small, except for a couple, versus the amounts that we're making when we, you know, are making money. And that's really the name of the game. So that'll do it for this week's update of Grail Quest. Feel free to let me know any comments or questions. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Talk to you guys soon.